Hello and welcome to Gabe in the Kitchen. So today we're going to be making a beautiful sponge candy, honeycomb, toffee, cinder toffee. Wherever you're from, there's a different name for it, but we're going to be making it. Now the recipe we've got has this malty texture. It melts in the mouth. It is absolutely mwah. And it's modeled after the buffalo style American sponge candy because we have gelatin. Now rather than use gelatin, we're using agar, and that makes it vegetarian. But apart from that, this recipe is super vegan, simple. Right? Oh yeah, vegan. We're gonna start by blooming our gelatin. I've got here a 1/4 teaspoon of our agar going into there. And then we're just gonna bloom that with about 1/2 teaspoon. I'm just gonna do a quarter twice of water. It needs about 10 to 15 minutes to bloom. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. And then we're gonna set it aside. We're gonna use cup measurements. Makes this recipe so much easier and quicker. I'll leave the gram measurements on the screen as well and in the description below. So we're gonna need 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. Do not use caster sugar. It doesn't quite work the same way. So get yourself a nice heavy bottom saucepan and make sure the sides are quite thick as well. And you wanna make sure that it's large enough because it's gonna bubble a lot. So 1 cup in there. See how quick that was? If we had to use a set of weighing scales, we'd be faffing around with all this and all that. Invest in one of these, you won't regret it. Then to that, I'm just gonna add 1/2 cup of water. This is just gonna help the sugar dissolve, but it also means you can't agitate the mixture while it cooks because it's more likely to crystallize when there's water in there. Water helps everything dissolve at the same rate and heat up at the same rate. Just use your water. Essential ingredient, you have to go get this, guys. I promise you, I have tried so many times with golden syrup and it does not work. It's too sticky.
Yeah, believe me.
It is way too sticky. 1/2 cup of light corn syrup. And then the next essential ingredient is bicarbonate of sugar. This is what causes the reaction. Bicarbonate of soda. This is what causes the reaction that creates all those air pockets in our sugar. So you're gonna need about a tablespoon. So you wanna make sure you get yourself a sieve and you pass it through. Ours is actually quite fine, but it doesn't hurt to pass it through a sieve. We are nearly ready. The reason we got this made in advance is because when it's nice and hot and ready at 300°F, we don't have time to be messing around trying to measure out 1 tablespoon of bicarb soda. Everything has to be ready. So make sure everything is ready and we'll put it to the side of the hob. Once you select a heat, you cannot increase it or decrease it. So you have to commit to what you've set. So we've committed to 7. I'm just gonna give this a stir to help everything dissolve just at the starting stages. The other essential thing you cannot do without this is a thermometer. You need to closely monitor when it gets to 300°F, which is about 150 degrees C, 149, 148. That is the hard crack stage and that's where we wanna get the sugar to. This, because we're doing such a low volume, it doesn't quite reach our minimum level, so this doesn't work for us. We're just going to use this one, probe version, and it's just a bit more, you have to pay more attention to it and come every now and then and check it. The other essential thing that we discovered while we were making many mistakes with this is when you leave it out to set, it absorbs the moisture from the air and it gets sticky on the surface. So to counter that, make sure you preheat your oven. 50 is fine. Just make sure it's on fan. The fan setting sort of draws out the moisture and dries out whatever's in there, and that is essential. Also, while your sugar heats up, make sure that you've prepared somewhere for it to be poured onto. If you don't have this, you're gonna be flopping around, panicking, and I don't know what you're gonna do with 300°F of hot sugar. You don't wanna make that mistake, guys. And oh, please, do not spill this on you. Make sure if you're showing this to children, that they're completely safe. This is very hot stuff that will disfigure you if it touches your skin. So be very careful, guys.
That means no licking the spoon.
Do not lick the spoon. For God's sake, don't lick the spoon. And make sure this is ready in advance. All I've got here is just some random...
That came with Mr. Ninja.
Just some random baking tray. Get some grease proof. And yeah, that's it. So now, the mixture is starting to bubble a lot more. It's starting to gain a little bit of color. So right now we're at 2. Oh yeah, obviously don't touch the bottom of the pan, please guys. It will be way hotter. Look, if I touch the bottom, it's gonna start reading higher and higher. Like that's clearly not what it's at. So you need to be somewhere in the middle. Wait for that to go back down. Get yourself a damp paper towel or a cloth and then just wipe that straight off. Right, so just checked. The liquid, well, I guess the sugar has darkened in appearance. That's how you know you're kind of there. Check the thermometer and it's gone over 300. Don't worry, this is more forgiving than other recipes. So this one, you can go to about 311 degrees Fahrenheit and you should be fine. So I'm just gonna clean this carefully.
Because it's hot.
Because it's hot, hot,
like
hot.
lava. Ooh, wouldn't it be very bad if I dropped the phone?
Yeah, don't drop the phone.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna take that off the heat. Then I'm gonna grab my agar. Now, let the bubbling settle. And also be careful not to go over 311 Fahrenheit. You will burn your sugar and you'll have a really nasty bitter taste in there. Oh yeah, when this hits when you stir this in, it's gonna bubble as well because there's a bit of water in your gelatin. So just be careful. It won't bubble too much, but it will bubble. So be careful. I'll grab the gelatin out, agar, and then pop that in there. And then we're just gonna stir that in.
Ooh.
From now on, you're allowed to stir your sugar. The magic. Now this part is super quick. So we'll sprinkle our bicarb all over the mixture. And then we'll stir it till it goes a milky white color. Make sure you get everything dissolved. So I'll be quick with this. Get all of that in there. You don't want any sort of loose bits left. Then we'll return that to the heat and then we'll vigorously stir for about 30 seconds. Yeah, be careful with this one, guys. It will catch at the bottom and it will burn. So once you get a beautiful golden color, like so, golden yellow, oh yeah. That's how you know you're ready. So you can let that settle. And then it should rise all the way to the top. I'm gonna take this off the heat now and then let it rise without the heat. The gelatin is holding the structure together and is making it rise a bit slower. And that's why you get the tighter air bubbles compared to traditional honeycomb. Oh, it's doming over the top. This is fine, this is good.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it and be a little bit brave. Don't be tempted to start pouring immediately. Let it do its thing and set just a little bit. The idea is you want it to come out as one nasty looking clump.
Oh, it does look nasty.
Then tip it out like so.
Eee. Did it burn?
It did not burn.
Yay, it burnt last time on the bottom. Ooh, oh no, that's not a nice sight.
That's gonna send some people off.
Okay.
Grab yourself a spatula and gently release the remainder.
We've worked really hard to get them.
We're just gonna leave it in here to basically dry out and set. But we'll get it out of here in about, let me turn this off. In about half an hour's time, I'll come to the oven, get it out, because we don't want to keep heating it up, you know? So if you're anything like Jess, you're probably worried about all the cleanup that you have to do.
Oh no, I know it's sugar and it dissolves.
The sides are a bit like cotton candy. So don't be afraid to get some.
Is that hot?
It's not hot, but it is sticky.
He wanted to show you the cleanup. But now it's just here snacking.
So once you've removed the outside, simple as this, just soak it with water and in 10 minutes time it will be ready to go. It will come right off. So it's been about half an hour. Just gonna check on the sponge. It's looking good, it's looking good. Okay, so now we're just gonna turn off the heat and leave the fan on for the next hour or so. So I'll slide that back in and then leave the door slightly open and then we'll just let that dry out. So now that this is close to fully setting, just gonna leave it in there and then we'll start tempering our beautiful chocolate. So in here I've got 600 grams of calibre. It's a couverture chocolate. Whatever you want is fine. You can use milk like we're using. You can use a bit darker or dark chocolate, whatever takes your fancy. We'll use the microwave method. So in there, we're just gonna do 30-second bursts. If you wanna distribute, if you want to see the seeding method, I'll leave a link to a video that we did, which goes into full details on, you know, tempering chocolate, all that good stuff. So you can click it if you want to find out some more. And now we have microwave tempered chocolate. Give it a good stir. You want to see, you want to be about 90% melted, so you see like little bits of chocolate still floating around in there. Give it a stir, and then for me personally, I like to add a little bit of chocolate, like a seeding method style, just to really ensure that it's tempered, or it goes back to temper. This is not part of the traditional microwave method, but it's just something that I like. Now the chocolate, you can tell is tempered when it starts to thicken considerably. So grab yourself some gloves at this point, because we're gonna be getting a messy. That's for Jess. Let's crack into this. I'm just gonna break it like so. And then break it some more.
Oh no!
And then you can just, whoops, didn't chop hard enough there. You can just chop it into chunks like so. And there's our full batch.
I thought we don't taste things anymore. Or is that just things that I cook?
Gone. That's how deliciously melt in the mouth it is. I promise you guys, if you do exactly what we say in this video, you will have beautiful results. I mean, dusty bits you can put into ice cream, make some coffee and sprinkle it on top, whatever you want. Ooh, piece like so. And then just cover it in delicious chocolate like so. And chocolate has really, really low moisture level, so it's not really gonna soak into your honeycomb. And then just lay it out on a grease-proof, and then it will set.
Wouldn't let your poor wife lick the bowl. You're gonna put water in all that melted chocolate, so just can't lick the bowl.
Anyway guys, so
He doesn't care.
the 600 grams of chocolate was just about enough to cover this many. We've got uncovered Cinder here, which is absolutely fine. They're delicious on their own anyway. That's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you've gained some value from this video. Hopefully your honeycomb batches are going perfectly now that you've seen all the tricks and the secrets and the tips. Thank you so much for watching. It's really quiet in the comment section. I don't know why. Don't be shy, guys. Do not be shy. We reply to all comments, if not most of them. So yeah, don't be shy. Leave a comment. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.